Breaking news from the White House. Syrian President Ahmed al-Sharaa has made history with a landmark visit to Washington, D.C., marking a significant shift in U.S. Syria relations. Let's dive into the details of this groundbreaking meeting and what it means for the future of the Middle East. Al-Sharaa met with President Donald Trump on Monday, November 10, 2025, for a closed-door meeting at the White House. This marks the first time a Syrian head of state has visited the White House since Syria gained independence from France in 1946. Trump described Syrian President Ahmed al-Sharaa as a strong and tough leader who has made significant progress in his role. He also mentioned that al-Sharaa has a rough past, but noted that we've all had rough pasts. Trump expressed his confidence in al-Sharaa's ability to lead Syria, saying, "He's a very strong leader. He comes from a very tough place, and he's a tough guy. I liked him. I get along with him."
Did you come to any agreements today?
Well, I've had an agreement with him. He's a very strong leader. He comes from a very tough place, and he's a tough guy. I liked him. I get along with him. The new president of Syria. And we'll do everything we can to make Syria successful, because that's part of the Middle East. We have peace now in the Middle East, first time that anyone can remember that ever happening.
The meeting between Syrian President Ahmed al-Sharaa and U.S. President Donald Trump covered several key issues, the first one being sanctions relief. The U.S. extended a 180-day waiver on most sanctions against Syria, excluding transactions involving Russia and Iran. Sharaa had been pushing for full removal of the Caesar Act sanctions, which would require congressional approval. Trump expressed support for repealing the sanctions through legislative action. The two leaders also discussed ways to enhance cooperation in the fight against terrorism, particularly in the context of the global coalition to defeat ISIS. Syria is expected to join the U.S.-led coalition. Trump and Sharaa discussed security issues, including a potential security agreement between Syria and Israel. The U.S. is also considering establishing a small military presence at a Damascus airbase as part of a broader cooperation effort. The Syria's president also urged the U.S. to lift sanctions and support Syria's reconstruction efforts, which would require significant investment to rebuild the country's infrastructure and economy. Trump asked Sharaa to assume responsibility for IS detention centers in northeastern Syria and to tell foreign fighters to leave the country. On Israel-Syria relations, Trump urged Sharaa to normalize relations with Israel by joining the Abraham Accords. Sharaa noted that Iran's departure from Syria represents a significant opportunity for improved relations with the U.S. The U.S. and Syria are exploring ways to boost economic cooperation, including potential investment opportunities in Syria's oil and gas sector. Then later, in an exclusive interview with Fox News, President al-Sharaa addressed his past ties to al-Qaeda, saying it was a matter of the past and not discussed during the meeting with Trump. He also expressed commitment to finding Austin Tice. He assured that finding American journalist Austin Tice, who went missing in Syria in 2012, was a priority. He also discussed investment opportunities in Syria, stating that the country is now viewed as a geopolitical ally rather than a security threat. He emphasized the need for economic support and cooperation to rebuild Syria and promote stability in the region. Al-Sharaa also highlighted the potential for U.S. investment in Syria, particularly in the energy sector, saying, "It's a place where the United States can have great investments, especially extracting gas."
I believe that the situation in Syria is different from this situation of the countries who went on with the Abrahamic agreement. Syria has borders with Israel, and Israel occupies the Golan Heights since 1967. We are not going to enter into negotiation directly right now. Maybe the United States administration with the President Trump will help us reach this kind of negotiation.
What would all these mean for Middle East? The meeting between Syrian President Ahmed al-Sharaa and U.S. President Donald Trump marks a significant shift in Middle East geopolitics, with far-reaching implications. 1. Shift in regional balance of power. The meeting signals a potential change in the regional balance of power, with Saudi Arabia and the U.S. strengthening ties with Syria, which could challenge Iran's influence in the region. Normalization of relations with Israel. Trump urged al-Sharaa to normalize relations with Israel, potentially paving the way for Syria to join the Abraham Accords. However, al-Sharaa emphasized that Syria's situation is different due to Israel's occupation of the Golan Heights. Counter-terrorism cooperation. The U.S. and Syria are expected to enhance cooperation in the fight against terrorism, particularly in the context of the global coalition to defeat ISIS. Reconstruction and investment. The meeting may lead to increased investment opportunities in Syria, particularly in the oil and gas sector, following the U.S. Treasury Department's 180-day suspension of sanctions. U.S. engagement in the region. The meeting demonstrates the U.S.'s willingness to engage with new leaders in the Middle East, potentially marking a shift in U.S. foreign policy towards a more transactional approach. What do you think about this historic new alliance? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to First Stream News and hit that notification bell for the latest news updates. Thanks for watching.